Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heartlines. Now, this is our space where we discuss all things relationship, friendship, love, marriage, and everything in between. I'm going to be your host for tonight. My name is Osayuame. And tonight, of course, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have with me Precious and Sir Joe joining me via Zoom. Let me come to Sir Joe first. Hi, Sir Joe, because we're discussing fatherhood today. Let me give you the first floor. Sir Joe, how are you? Sir Joe,
Finally, we get the privilege.
you said what?
We get the privilege. I'm fine. I said, finally, we get that privilege
Yes,
of
so
recognition today.
yes, so it's very important. It's very important. You guys, you play a very crucial role in building a very well-grounded society. The fabric of our society is dependent on the strength of our fathers. So it's very, very important. So that's why it's important to give you the first floor. So how was your weekend? How did your week start?
Good, good, very good. I will, on behalf of the fathers, receive that flower from you. And thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I have Precious. Precious has joined us via Zoom as well. Hi, Precious. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine. Good evening.
Good
Good evening, Sir
evening.
Joe.
Good evening, Precious. How are you today? How's Port Harcourt?
Now, we're in darkness in so many places.
But really, what's going on? Why do we have darkness in Port Harcourt, though?
So Port Harcourt, every time it rains, there's always an excuse as to why the lines in certain places will just have issues. And so they had sent us a memo. We got it on Sunday. Yes, that the lights will be erratic because they now have to share the light and all of that. So
Interesting. Okay,
mm.
well, it is well with you. Welcome to Nigeria. That's all I can say. uh,
uh,
all right. Tonight we want to discuss this very interesting topic. Do Father's Day celebrations reflect real fatherhood? It's such an interesting question. So let me start with the father in the house. Sir Joe, the celebrations, does it reflect real fatherhood?
I I would rather you put that question in context because I'm not sure what that question expects of us to say, whether celebration reflects fatherhood. Well,
Okay.
if you want a yes or no answer, yes, it does. And no, it does not.
mhm.
Now I'm confused.
Yeah. I'm
Precious.
also of the yes, for me, I would say no.
Yeah. Because for me, I would also say no because there is a lot that goes into fatherhood beyond a 1 day celebration. I think
Yeah,
maybe that is where the direction of this topic is going. Do you understand?
yeah,
People just feel like, okay, yes, because we've done Father's Day celebration, it then kind of like uh, uh, um, gives, would I say, gives credit to what, fathers represent or what fatherhood means. Um, I've seen cases where, those absentee fathers, right? But they will show up on
yeah.
Father's Day and they think, okay, yes, that should make up for their absenteeism. I don't know, Sajo, if this is heading in a direction to give you a bit of context.
I do not think fathers should show up on Father's Day. I feel they should be celebrated. So um, that's why I'm a bit worried about the question. If it's asked as to whether the celebration of a father is a reflection of what fathering implies, then I would say no.
Hmm.
Uh, because it is not in celebrating the man 1 day that you show appreciation for all he has done through his life and
Yeah.
all he will do even when he's no longer here.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Because the duty of a father goes beyond even living. It has to do with the legacy you leave behind, for which your children and sometimes your grandchildren would benefit from.
yeah,
So it's a lifetime responsibility, a lifetime duty, and lifetime sacrifices, which of course your children and children's children will benefit from. So it does not stop in a day celebration. It does not capture the essence of fatherhood or what the responsibility and duties of a father should imply.
Yeah.
Precious, do you want to come in here?
Yes, I would add that because the picture we have of fathers and fatherhood is not a loud one. You know, mothers are the ones that are at the forefront. Fathers are not will I say natural nurturers like mothers are. And so the father is in the background doing his best to provide the house that the woman can now turn into a home. And so it's not a loud job. It's not a job that you don't see men go around saying, do you know I have successfully paid my child's school fees? Do you know I have paid my house rent? Men don't go about bragging, you know, about the provision and the care that they offer their families. And so that's why I say, if we look at even the way the Father's Day is being celebrated, the truth is we are not actually even celebrating these men on that one day enough. Because at the end of the day, I know we have fathers that are not present. I understand that, just like we have mothers that are not present. But most often than not, we have fathers who are present, but present in the background. They leave the spotlight for the women, for the mothers. They leave the spotlight for the other caregivers in the family. All they keep asking is, what do you need? What can I give you that will make your job easier? And I'm speaking
Interesting.
from a place of experience as a child. Because all through my growing years, up until my dad passed, if you meet him for anything, he would tell you, go and meet your mother. It doesn't mean my mom was the one providing every single thing. It just meant that he was empowering my mom. And he wanted us to understand that, look, I might not always be here, but this woman is the one that when you go to meet her, you know that your needs, will be met. My mom was not a magician. Somebody was empowering her from behind.
Interestingly. Okay, so let me quickly call our viewers to say that remember you can be a part of this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also call our phone lines. The numbers to call are 07025007749 or 07014242420. If you also understand the topic and you feel the need to share to someone who needs to be part of the conversation, please share our YouTube links. It's at Official Upgrade TV. That's the YouTube handle. Share that link to someone who needs to be a part of this conversation. All right, so let me come back to the topic, right? And I'll attempt to rephrase it, right? Father's Day, a true reflection of modern fatherhood. Is it a true reflection of modern fatherhood, or is just a symbolic gesture? So if you look at it, right, Father's Day is widely celebrated with gifts, messages of appreciation, public tributes to dads. I saw videos on social media, interesting videos. I saw a particular one where two young girls, the father has been in love with this particular sports car. So what they had done initially was they bought the toy one and gave it to him, and he was so appreciative of it, only for him to open a small box to find a key, and they actually got him the real car. So if you look at how it is being celebrated worldwide, it's tributes, lovely messages, public gifts, public tributes to their dads and all of that. But beyond the cards and social media posts, right? The question that should run through our mind is, does this annual celebration genuinely reflect everyday realities, the struggles, and evolving roles of modern fathers? Um, this topic, as we know it, would explore whether Father's Day offers an accurate portrayal of fatherhood as it is today, or it is merely reinforcing traditional stereotypes and overlooks the emotional, financial, and hands-on contribution that many fathers now make. It also opens a conversation about whether society equally recognizes and supports fatherhood as it does motherhood. That one is a very wide one, because if you look at it,
Yes.
somebody would say that mothers and women and girls, we have like, it's uncountable now how many days that they celebrate us all over so it's just one day for the boy child and one day for Father's Day and all of that. So I mean, that's what I think we should hope to achieve with this conversation today. So I'll come back to you, Sir Joe. Right. um there are many things. Look at what Precious said about her father, and even though he was the one, behind the support and everything, you would still see him go back and meet your mom and all of that. Today, there's a lot of struggle with gender roles. There's a lot of struggles and fight, and I don't know whether it is just because, again, as I said earlier, there is a global attention on women, right? Are fathers truly, fathers rather, are they truly um in the right, would I say, emotional space, in the right head space, to father children in today's world?
Hmm. I would say yes. The reason is I've come across a lot of young fathers. When I say young fathers, I'm talking about fathers between the ages of who became fathers between the ages of 23 and 40. And I've seen how they are striving to be more present in the lives of their children. I think it stems from the fact that over the years, some kids have been wrongly manipulated to think that just because their fathers were not present, they were not involved in their upbringing or whatever it is that the kids have achieved. Why in Nigeria? So let's even look at the case of Omogo. Let's say I get married and I stay in the US. My dad probably will never visit the US, but I would make sure that my mom visits the US. Now, over the years, this are even within Nigeria. So you see, kids are conditioned to favor their mothers more because they think, whether it is 100% true or not, but they think that their mothers were more present in their life. And it has to also do with the traditional roles. So the traditional roles that we have been taught to believe or that we're brought up in says, look, all the man does is go to work, come back, gives the wife money, and then she does the rest. And sometimes some homes make fathers to look like God. So they are unapproachable. So you hear, even when the kids want to go and meet the father, the mother is like, oh, don't disturb your dad. Your dad needs to rest. Your dad wants to sleep. Your dad, needs time alone. So men over the years did not have time to cultivate a close relationship or a close friendship with their kids, unlike what mothers have been doing. But the fathers that we are having now are trying to be more present in the lives of their children. So you go to restaurants, you go to parks, you go to recreational centers, and you see fathers with their kids.
Hmm.
So it's becoming a movement, so to speak. I
So
understand the celebration
you are
aspect. I
saying that
mean,
you see a lot of intentionality with fatherhood nowadays.
exactly. Yes,
Hmm.
much more than so the intentionality is now being brought forward because the
Hmm.
men, I think in their minds, they're like, is it because we've not been talking? You people don't know that, we've been there for these children.
Hmm.
And so they are now also, taking a step forward instead of remaining in the shadows to
Interesting.
say, look, we are here
Hmm.
and this is who we are and this is how we also, support.
Sir Joe, do you agree with
Yes,
Precious on this, or do you have a different view
I
whether fathers are truly in the right headspace and emotional space to father children these days?
I am not sure the demands of fathers have ever reduced. It's a very unspoken uh, burden that every man carries through his lifetime. Now, I was just going to touch a bit on what Precious was saying with respect to the roles. You see, with the kindest respect to women. Um, Everything a father does to his children, and even by extension to the wife, he sees it as his responsibility and his duty. So it is not put in any imaginary scale for where it is quantified or viewed or reviewed. So for him, it is, like you rightly said, uh, it is not expected of a man to say, "Oh, I've paid my children's school fees," or "I've paid the house rent." But you see, the way a woman is wired, also with kind respect to them, they put things in scale, both in what they do for their children, what they do for their spouses, and even in their relationship or friendship. They always want to scale who is doing more. So because they are able to quantify what they do, it is also easier for them to amplify it and express it.
Mm.
And because it is regularly expressed, it becomes the truth within the
Eh,
family circle.
but Sir Joe,
And
sorry to interrupt you, but you see, this thing you've just said, I'm in the business space now. And I have learned that you have to learn how to sing and toot your horn. You have to shout, "This is what I'm doing," oh. That is why you get more attention.
now, now, if you were a man, it would be difficult for you to shout and say what you're doing, because the moment you start screaming on what you're doing, you are tagged a weak man, an irresponsible man, a woman man, and they give you all sorts of names. Because a man is not expected to speak of what he has. After all, it is your duty to do. It's your responsibility. So who do you expect to thank you or the appreciation from? So that is on the one side. And happily, the younger generation of fathers have not sought to realize that, look, we cannot continue like this. We must now begin to show what we do and let it sing to the children that we're there and present. If if the kids were going to go to a party, the presence in the party is just 1% or 10% of the entire arrangement for the party. They were going to get new clothes, new shoes. They were going to get transported to the party. If they were going to buy presents, someone would pay for it. All of those things were never put in any scale. So it is not reviewed, it's not viewed. And sometimes it could have passed through the mother's, the paycheck could have passed through the mother's purse to say, okay, you know what? Oh, the kids needs X, Y, to take this money, make provision for them. Now, my kids were still within, where they were still in secondary school and primary school in this country, I ensured that I was always attending those
PTAs. Mm-hmm.
PTAs and reviews, academic review days. And I would sit with them, with the teachers, and I discovered that most times they were not comfortable with the fathers being there. Because I was going to ask those questions. I was not coming there for chit chat. It was pure business. Please, can you tell me why this grade is this and why this is this? I've had situations where I was reviewing and I said, no, this child should not have gotten 98. This answer that you gave here is not even correct. His answer was right. And then the lady was like, oh, sir, it's still A. I said, no, it's not A. From there, I took the matter all the way to the proprietor of the school, and we sat down and we reviewed it. And then they went on saying, this man, he wahala too much. He comes and he looks at every page. Because that is how detailed it should be. If parents had time to attend, if fathers had time to attend. But for mother, it's just a show. Some are a bit more detailed, and some are more interested in, after the event, taking the child home or passing through one of the eateries and give them a decent lunch and then go home. You know, the core distinction between father and mothering is, on the one hand, emotion, and on the other hand, reasoning. Why a father is more interested in building a child, male or female, equipping and empowering that child to face the challenges of life, whether he's loved or not. The mother is more interested in the love of the child, the emotional structure of the child. So it is only natural for the child to
Tilt.
align more with
Hmm.
the one,
With
yeah,
the
tilt
mom,
more with the one
yes.
who gives them emotional balance than the one. It is only much later in life, particularly for male children, that you begin to discover that, oh, all this man was doing all this why was to prepare me for this day. And most times, and very unfortunately, it could be after he's gone that you realize that, oh, this man did all of this for today.
Hmm.
And then he's no
Mm.
longer there for you to show appreciation to.
Yeah.
Let me give you another instance. There was one day, my dad, he's late now, God rest his soul, came to Lagos. And I said, you know what, let's go and have a drink at Sheraton, one of those evenings. So we went there. As we were walking in, I saw one of my very old friend, Dr. Akilade, and he looked at me. Was like, is this your dad? I said, yes, my dad. It was like, wow, Joe, you don't know how lucky you are. I could give anything in the world today to sit down with my dad and have 1 hour with him, just talk and maybe drink. So the point where we are appreciated usually is at the point where we may have exited this
Hmm.
space
Mm.
because our duty comes into full blossom towards the tail end of our existence. You begin to appreciate this man when you are now understanding what kept this man back in his car when he gets back home and he stays another 10, 15 minutes back in the
Mm.
car.
Hmm.
Or
Whereas maybe your
scratching his
mother
head.
would be saying that, oh, he's making calls, he's talking to one of his other, you know what. Or why he sits
One of his
sometimes
other
alone.
chickens.
Yes, he sits sometimes alone and you think he's listening to the news, but he's just staring.
Hmm.
You will get there. And when you get there, you will now begin to appreciate, oh, so this man was not really a billionaire or a millionaire. He had to bend backwards to pay these fees.
Hmm.
He had to deprive himself to do
Mhm.
all of this. And that will be when you maybe have not become a father and your father is at the point of exiting this space called
Hmm.
earth.
Well, this
Another thing
is.
that works against
Go
this
ahead.
appreciation again is the role we are called to play. Oh, you are disrespectful. Let your father come. I'll report you to your father. So they're already creating the monster being who disciplines this child, who treats his F ups. And then, of course, when you discipline children, whether uh, proportionately or otherwise, they'll begin to see you, they'll begin to distance themselves from you. And it is that man who is disciplining the child that is termed the bad parent because the one who asked, who told you their misbehavior, that's the wife, and made you treat their
But Sir
misbehavior
Joe,
with the
it's not
intention of
always
correcting
like
it.
that in all
No,
cases.
no, wait.
You know, this
Let
is
me
in
let
some
me land on
cases,
this thought.
yes, yeah.
Let me land on this thought, please. When you have so treated their misbehavior, they go back to that mother for succor. And he says, "Ah, you know your dad now. But next time, please don't do this." Whereas she was the one who told you all of the things they did in the bedroom that led to your discipline act. So what I say to parents, fathers rather, create a balance. Try and have a relationship with your kids.
Mm.
You are not their friend, yeah. The best you can be is their mentor. So
Hmm.
that when what they're able to speak to their mother about, they're also able to come to you and speak about it. And then hopefully they will learn through your eyes and through the pain they see that you will never speak about the sacrifices you are making for them.
Hmm. Okay, so this is getting interesting because Joe, I was just going to say to you that you see this thing. I think again the gender of the child also matters in the scenario you've painted because I know that when it comes to most times, not this is not generalizing that, but when it comes to um daughter father relationship, the
Ah.
girl, it is the mother that is now the terrorist in that relationship
Yes,
because
so my
the
father did not lay a hand on me
yeah, the
until
girl
he
gets
died.
away with everything with her dad.
I
She
got
gets
away with
away with literally
everything.
everything. you know. So but that's an aside though.
Yeah.
So you see, as we try to, go back to the conversation around Father's Day celebration, right? It would be nice to hear what should be the most important things, to project on days like this. You see, when it comes to issues around the International Day for the Girl Child, International Women's Day, and all of those days that celebrate, and Mother's Day, Mothering Sunday, like we have so many and all of that, you see, there is always emphasis on the fact that women are marginalized, that women are, most times women are not allowed to do XYZ. They're asking for more rights, more female representation. I mean, the it seems like the demands, right, in those, when those days are celebrated, the demands are quite clear as to what are the core needs that women should, people should fight for as regards women. But you see, Father's Day, the only thing I saw, I mean, I saw a very, very beautiful video. An entire Catholic church, like the entire church, all the wives, they ganged up against their husbands and they bought an exact same T-shirt. So it was fun because by the time the men were arriving church, they saw everybody wearing the same T-shirt, even including the Reverend Father. They gave him his own, but he couldn't, of course, change his robe. So it was really fun to watch. But you see, in celebrations of Father's Day, most times what me I see is just eulogies, the thank you messages, thank you for being there, you've been the pillar and all of that. But when it comes to, because I know that men have needs. Men have issues that society needs to address. Look at what you just said. The number one you said, oh, you have what's it called, tagged him, the disciplinarian. You've tagged him, the monster in the relationship. So men truly have some huge concerns that should be addressed. But why are these messages not brought forth? On international days where it's supposed to project and spotlight the men, why are we still not having conversations around it? Is it same because of the male, oh, okay, men don't talk and all of that? Let's just jolly and let's, pop our champagne and be happy and let everybody celebrate us and that's it. I mean, I feel like these are supposed to be opportunities. We call them teaching moments or teachable moments where you start to educate the society on the needs that men, or the needs that, should be projected that that are lacking amongst, the fathers and all of that. But yeah, Precious, you want to come in? Do you have an idea why we don't project those?
Again, it still goes back to the fact that men have been taught to operate from the shadows. And this is the reason why, till date, most men don't know how to take a compliment.
Hmm.
So even so, I'm not even talking about maybe as a friend, you tell your male friend, you compliment him. No, I'm talking about children telling their dads, thank you. You see kids these days, mostly what they are taught to say thank you for is, you are finished eating, go and tell your daddy thank you.
Hmm.
Daddy, thank you, and that's the end. But simple things like, oh, you had for instance, a child is celebrating a birthday party. The father provides the money, the mom does the running around and the arrangement. The child finishes, enjoys that party, and tells the mom thank you, and forgets that the father was also included. So men have, over the years, forgotten how to receive compliments, how to be put on a pedestal and say, look, you see this thing you did, I'm going to praise you for the next 1 week. Men also, most men don't know how to even accept gifts.
Hmm.
So even the women in their lives try to do something for them because over the years they've associated gifts with manipulation. She has given me something, that means she needs something. This woman has been nice like this for the past 3 days. I know
What
that
do you
one bill
want?
is coming, And this is a kind of silent conditioning that has been going on, over the last how many decades. So men don't know how to receive gifts. They don't know how to receive appreciation. Most of them don't know how to receive gifts, don't know how to receive appreciations. And again, I will use my late dad as an example, you will be telling my father thank you for something. If you see the way this man will be shy, his face will just have this funny look and everybody will just burst out laughing. Because we'll be like, see who we're telling thank you. Meanwhile, on the other hand, if you're telling my mom thank you, she's dancing, she's smiling, she's laughing, she's giving you the gist of, how what she puts in to make sure that that thing that, you're not telling her thank you for, how it became a success. On the other hand, the man is just by one corner enjoying the atmosphere, of a serene and a peaceful and a happy family. So men need to learn. It is a skill that they need to learn. One, how to accept genuine compliments. Two, how to accept gifts. And then the people who are giving the gifts, the wives, the mothers, the sisters, the women in their lives, also have to know how to give timely gifts that the man would also appreciate. So there was
Not
a time
boxers
when
and
they were
singlets.
always, exactly, they were always being women that the only thing we know how to buy is boxers and singlets. I had to learn it with my dad. My mom would be like, no, find out what your father needs at this moment. So she made sure that every year we each gave my dad a gift that he needed. I now found out what he loved receiving from me. And so I always made sure that he had it. If I didn't have the money to buy, I would take one. He loved perfume. So I'll just pick one from my collection and send to him. If I
Wow.
had the money to buy exactly what he wanted, I would do that. So men have to learn how to receive gifts. Women or the women folk have to learn how to give men gifts
Thoughtful
that count,
gifts.
gifts that matter.
Absolutely. Okay.
Yes, you
Sorry, Precious. We just want to go on a very short break, right? When we come back from that break, of course, we'll continue this amazing conversation. I love what you said. Thoughtful gifts, very important. Don't just give gifts, but give something that would mean something to the man. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Heartlines will be right back.
This season on Heartlines, we're committed to making a difference in people's lives. So Heartlines, in partnership with Reda Consult, is offering 12 free slots of counseling every quarter for people in need of professional counseling. Additionally, we're taking on 2 pro bono cases for individuals navigating a challenging divorce. To participate, please send an email to counsel@vedaconsult.com with your story. Our team will carefully review all submissions and will contact all the shortlisted candidates. Heartlines is live Mondays to Fridays at 10 p.m., so engage with us.
Thanks for staying with us on Heartlines.
All right, thanks for staying tuned. Now, we are having a conversation around fatherhood, and just generally, fatherhood and Father's Day celebration, just shining the spotlight on our fathers this evening. Now, remember, you can join this conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. You can also call our phone lines. The numbers to call 07025007749 or 07014242420. You can also share our YouTube links. The link is at Official Upgrade TV. Just share to someone, to a father, that needs to hear this. All right, so let me come back. Precious, I'll come back to you, but let me go to Sajo, right? The question that I posed to Precious was the fact that, the way there's clarity around, what's it called? There's clarity around Mother's Day and the demands, always bringing forth the issues around women and all of that and the girl child. Father's Day came and it went. We really did not see, those very strong calls for some kind of a cause, towards fathers. Why is that so? And you also agree with Precious that said that men don't know how to receive love. They don't know how to receive gifts. Is that a true representation of, the state of fathers?
Um, where do we start from? First and foremost, we men generally, whether they become father later in life or they're just men, we do not feel the need to demand. Most men do not feel that they're entitled to anything. So, because we do not feel the need that that we can demand or we have the right to demand or request from anybody, what we need, we have to dig deep to get. And if we cannot get, we have to internalize the pain until we're able to provide. So it is only natural for us not to put anything out there as what the needs of men would be. But if we were to be in our closet with other guys and they ask, okay, what do you really think is the most important need of a man in this at this time, let's say for this year? What I would say is he's human. He has a heart, he has a soul, so he deserves to be loved.
Mm.
And that is not what you can put out there because when you speak of this, there's a certain way the society looks at you with that. Even the men who are in deep need of the love and the attention will like, no, now, come on. You're a man. You really should not be saying this. So that may be the reason why nothing is put out there on the day we are celebrating men to say, oh, let us have this on the front burner for purpose of what men really need or what we should direct the attention of the world to with respect to men's health. And coincidentally, this is also the month of men's mental health.
Yeah.
And you will notice that there are really no discussions about that, despite the fact that men are more likely on a scale of 1 to 10, 7 to commit suicide because of mental health issues, depression, stress than women. But it's never a topic out there to discuss as to why why and what we should do to help uh, attend to the mental state of mental health of men. Because, as I said, we do not think we have any rights to demand as men or that we are entitled to anything. So whatever you give to a man is extra. He's most likely going to be very appreciative of it because in the first place, he does not think he deserves anything. Then with respect to what Precious said as to men not being able to receive love, it also ties to that feeling of duty. Now, a man who does what he thinks is his responsibility and duty to do does not see why you are thanking him for that. I just did what I should do. I just performed my duty. So what is the thank you for? So those things those reactions you get from your father is, I mean, the facial expression would most likely in his inner mind be, okay, what exactly is she thanking me for? I just had my bath. I just fixed my meal. I just wore my shoe. These are duties that are mine to do. Why is anybody thanking me? Whereas in women, they would want thank you for everything. I mean, let's not discuss them because this is
This
about
is about
fathers
fathers,
and
so
men.
stop bringing
Exactly.
women matter
Yes.
inside the matter.
Yeah, but again, there's no human being who does not appreciate gifts. There's no human being who does not want to be gifted. The difference is just that because over time we are not used to being gifted, we're not used to receiving gifts. So it is only strange and unnatural for us to expect anything. And when it comes, we do not know how to react because we have not been programmed or raised and trained to receive. So when we receive, we don't know what to do with it or how to react about it. You will see, let me shock you. You see, until recently, I didn't know it was an issue for women when they say to their husband, what will you want to eat? You're coming back from work. Oh, what will you want to have for dinner? What will you want to have for lunch? My answer, and I think the answer of most men, will immediately be, oh, anything that will not stress you.
Aye.
Yeah.
Oh, anything. Yeah, but that anything was creating problem. I didn't
Yes,
know until I
so
had that conversation recently. I didn't know until I had that conversation recently. I was like, okay, and why do you always say anything? I was like, anything because I do not want you stressed on my accounts. So fix anything that you can fix that will not stress you. Just do it. I will eat it anyways. So it was after I had that conversation, which I am sure most men may not have had. I will still continue in that, believing they are doing something good and saving their women stress with saying anything. So there's a particular way that men are programmed by the society, by their mothers who raised them, that you're not entitled to anything. The one line that I will never forget any day is nobody is coming to save you. That has been so ingrained in my subconsciousness that I know that in time of danger or difficulties, it's only God. It's only God that I can run to. And until God answers, it is my duty to keep digging until I find the solution. I do not think anybody in the world can come to
Okay.
my aid.
Sir Joe, I mean, I just wanted to ask you as a man and as a father, what do you think would be the greatest fulfillment for fathers, right? What would be that thing that gives, and this is maybe we really cannot generalize, but I would feel that maybe there will be some common things that would make a father say, I did well. What would that be? Then I'll come to you, Precious, to also
Yes,
share your thoughts.
I can say this for all fathers or all good fathers. The greatest gift, the greatest achievement, the greatest fulfillment a father will get is my boy or my daughter turned out right. It is in the success of our children that we get reward for our toiling and our hard work. It's only that hour when we see that, oh, yes, I did right. That hour when we see them succeed, that hour when we see them up there, the parents who are receiving some good accolades, we're like, yeah, I did right. And that is the only reward we expect. That's the only return for our labor.
Uh, Precious, do you also want to add to that question?
I actually agree with what he's saying because I've seen my dad when he was alive celebrate every milestone that we all achieved as kids, or even in our adulthood. I've seen him not bother, like, it's not as if he didn't care, but he's more interested in your end product. So you tell him you're running a course, he won't even ask you any day, how is the course going? All he wants to hear is at the end of the day, that course went well, you came out with flying colors, you went to write an exam, the exam came out well, at your job you're doing well, if you're running a business. I have a brother who is a shoemaker basically, and my dad showed his pride by making sure that every shoe in his wardrobe was made by my brother. We didn't even know until when my father died. When we went, normally you go and look at the clothes, the shoes, and everything. And we found out that my father's wardrobe was filled with shoes that my brother had made. So yes, just like Sergio has said, the best gift one can give a man, or that a man would appreciate with the whole of his chest, is to see that these kids, this family that he spent his productive years supporting, turned out right. That, as female children, you're not in any abusive home, your husband takes care of you, you also have your own kids, you're doing well, and that the men, the boy child grows up to have his own family, which is also a reflection of, how there are things my brother will do today, and I'll say, Kai, you really resemble this man. you know. So yeah, so that is that. But Sir Joe, the question is, what can we physically, that is tangible, that we can hold. Like I think we're trying to say, what is that unique? We're not trying to generalize it, but like I said, my dad loved perfumes. He loved wristwatches. I found that out by myself. So I think my own answer would be the people in the lives of these men who are actively present, please do your investigation. As funny as it is, it's easy to find out what a man wants and what a man
They are
needs.
actually they are even easier to please than women. We are we are
And
complicated a bit. Even
I'm
though
telling
I would
you,
not want to bring the argument to just help to support Sergio, but hey, I mean, to please a man is quite easy. It's very straightforward. Some men is just food. Just cook good food for them all the time and they will be happy. They don't have any problem. Some men, of course, they want, but some people is just good food, and some is, just show them that you care. The reason I even asked that question around, what's it called, what is the important message that needs to be projected every time fathers are celebrated, right? The reason I'm asking that question is because I understand that, in fairness, like what Sergio has said, the real need for men is actually more intangible. Do you understand? Men are not the ones that, because I mean, they're not in that space where they are fighting for allocation of seats or rights to vote, and they don't do it because those are not their struggles. But in the fact that those are not their struggles, right? The over the years that we have put so much attention on women and their rights to
mm,
do so many things, it has also created a huge void in the lives of a lot of guys. So that's why, I have boys as children. So that's why I'm very particular about, the emotional state and the emotional stability of my boys. Because I know that a lot of men have deep seated emotional traumas, right? Deep seated emotional traumas. And it doesn't seem like we even understand what they go through. So when you see a man, in my head, when you see a man or a father throwing tantrums would be going out to go and do all the shenanigans that they do, drink, carry women and all of that. I feel like that is an escape from a deeper issue that is not addressed. And because they are not that communicational being, they don't talk. You are not talking. A woman will, she would intentionally, not all women, I don't really talk. I only learned how to start communicating, in my adult age. Usually before I would just be quiet, but I will do what I want to do that is in my mind, right? But I'm learning now how to communicate. But you see, I'm just a minority amongst women. A lot of women, they express and they talk. They say this is what is going on. But you don't have that kind of expression with men. And that's why a lot of men then find outlets. Some men, their outlet is just carrying multiple women and just having children all over the place. Some men, their outlet is just, doing all sorts of hazardous behavior. Some men, I mean, like the list is endless as to the outlet. So instead of having those kind of unstable men, because we need our fathers to be whole, we need them to be in the right mind space, in the right head space, to be able to father and raise amazing children. So instead of us, bottling all of those conversations, maybe those are the narratives or the conversations that we should be pushing out on days that are dedicated, those very rare occasions that are dedicated to, celebrating fathers and celebrating men. I just feel like,
mm,
it is important that we start to reconsider that and start to spell it out. Let's start to
mm,
put a word to the problem. So when we see a problem, we say, okay, this is what men want. This is what men want. Maybe if we start to do that, we'll start to have a better and a healthier, nation that is brimming with great fathers. But yeah, real FTO says Sajo will always bring women in his voice. That's gender. Sajo. So let me give you some minutes to say your final thoughts, because we were talking and the time I just looked at it, it has gone.
Now, if you if you are privileged to still have your father around, show him love. He will never ask for it, but he needs it.
Hmm.
Spend time with him. He may not need your gifts. He may value your time more than any gift you buy for him at this age. Go see him, spend time with him, and learn. Because every minute you spend with your father and every wisdom he shares with you, you will need through your life. Uh, if I still have a minute, I'll add this. You see, I did a write-up. I'll share with you after this. I did a write-up 2 years before my father passed, and it went viral. It was husband, laborer, and king. I narrated an incident I experienced in my father's office so many years ago. Then I was still an undergraduate at Edo State University. And this thing went viral. I don't know how it got to my dad. You know how the internet is. And when he called me that day, he said, "Why did you put this out there?" I was like, "I wanted the world to know that you were a wonderful man. And I really do appreciate everything you do." And the man cracked for the first time. And I could hear that the man was breaking down. And he called the call, called him back, and he did not pick. That is who a man is. We will bottle those emotions, we will keep them in, we may never speak of it. So if you can, share love, hug him, spend time with him. All a man needs from you is your presence and nothing more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sajo. That was really deep, very deep. Precious, do you want to add something to that while we wrap up the conversation?
Yeah, I would just speak from the point of view of a child. Please call your father today. We are so used to, if you check some people's phones, their emergency contact is their mother. So call your father today, check up on him as often as you can, but I will suggest every day. It really doesn't take so much. And I'm not saying a text message, I'm not saying a WhatsApp message. I'm saying a phone call, because in the twinkle of an eye, that person that you're taking for granted can be snatched away, by the cold hands of death. And then all you would have will be, had I known, regrets. Oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. So instead of, waiting until then, you can take that action today and be present in your father's life.
Just hearing Sajo speak, my dad recently turned 76. My dad has always been that workaholic, never ever resting. In fact, on his birthday, when I called him, I said, "Daddy," so he didn't pick the call until later that day. I said, "Where did you go to?" He said, "Of course, I went to work." I said, "Daddy, even on your birthday?" He said, "The work never stops." And, in the quietness of my spirit, I said, "Mm-mm." We truly have a gem in our hands, and like Sajo said, it's important to just show love. It doesn't hurt to just show that extra care. On Father's Day, when I called him as well, he was still not available. I had to call my mom to get through to him. you know um it's a very tough place for men, and I just want to appeal to men, please. It is not a sign of weakness, right, if you once in a while say that I just want to be hugged. I just want someone to be by my side, right? It's not a sign of weakness, because again, the society has brandished this weakness, but it is not. It's actually a sign of strength when you're able to just say, "This is what I need at this time," as opposed just trying to bottle up all that emotion. Because some men, they've really gone left, far left, right? Just because they bottled emotions that they could not express, and they then channeled it into something that was very unhealthy for them. Instead of doing that, just be that person where you summon up the courage to just say, "You know what, this is what I need per time." And I hope this show really helped. And I hope someone listening, if you have a father that is alive, like Sajo has said, and you have a man around you that is a father, please just find a way to be present and just show them love. Thank you so much, Sajo, and thank you, Precious. This has been an amazing conversation. Before we go, please ensure that you send us an SMS, especially if you are going through a struggle. Please, not an SMS, sorry, an email. It's counsel@vedaconsult.com. That's the email address. Send us an email. Share your story. We have amazing people that would be here, to listen to you, to hold you, to walk you through whatever challenge that you're going through. Don't bear that burden alone. Please, as much as you can, share this link to every father that you know. It is important that the fathers know that we love them and we care about them, and they are also very important, in building a very healthy society. Until next time, stay safe, stay blessed. We'll see you guys tomorrow, same time at 10 p.m. live. Enjoy.